Hello everybody, it's Jenny McGarvey here with you today to share my Project Life Week 34. As you can see, I have my stuff all laid out, my handy supplies that I always have, my notebook right there, the August Scraptastic Kit Club This Life Noted Kit, and my photos that I already printed on my Canon selfie. Now I'm using my template, the same one that I always use in Design A, and I'm going to go ahead and throw down my photos. Now, like I said, I use the Canon selfie, and I do a lot of printing on not only 4x6, but I also do 2 photos on a 4x6 for a couple of 3x4s. Now, sometimes I do vary those sizes. I like to change it up on different weeks, but this week I stuck with just 4x6s and 3x4s. Now, as you can see, I took one photo and sort of enlarged it. I mean, I didn't really because these are just traditional 4x6s, but then I put them in the divided page protectors to give that particular photo more weight on this page. Now, I also, as you can see, have a small photo of my dog in that lower left-hand corner, and that will be a spot for a smaller photo in a 4x6 pocket. Now, I'm going to start filling the pages up, or the pockets up, excuse me, with different cards and embellishments. Now, as you can see, I'm switching through the 3x4 cards, and I'm going to find 2 that will work in that 4x6 slot with the photo of my dog, including the bright orange one that I just passed, and then also one for that 3x4 slot right there. Now, I will use that one for a lot of journaling, and then the other ones right there will just be the photo of my dog and then that filler card as well. I use a lot of 4x6 filler cards in my designs. For some reason, I'm drawn to printing photos on the 3x4 slots, so I run out of 4x6 cards, I think, more quickly than the average person. So that's why I do this often, which is using 2 3x4s in one of those pockets, just so that I can make my supplies stretch a little bit further, and that works well for me. Now I'm just going to start dressing these up a little bit, keeping it pretty simple, not going crazy or anything like that. I'm using one of the cut-aparts designed by Caitlin Schaefer, just in that upper left-hand corner, and really just putting the date on here. The photo doesn't need a whole lot of explanation. It's obviously of a shopping cart, so it's not particularly necessary. Though if you found yourself with some open pockets, you could absolutely write down what you bought that week or what you were really enjoying at the store that week, those types of things. I just didn't have that need. I had all full spots, so I'm not going to do any journaling. It's just about the act of grocery shopping. Now I'm going through those Teresa Collins stickers, which are really fun, and they really work well with this particular kit, and they actually work really well with the pocket pages. And I will come back to those. I sort of looked over them and got them in my head, and I knew what sorts of things were included and what I might want to use. Now I'm using another one of those cut-aparts, and it's not until after I adhere it that I really think about how it says note, and the other one with the grocery cart also says note, and I'm not particularly thrilled with the reoccurrence of that, so I'm going to take one of those Teresa Collins stickers and just throw it right on top of the note, and now it says love this, and it's really cool because it actually totally works with the photo, it works with the design of the page, and it really doesn't make any difference that they both said note. Now, after adding the tiniest bit of typewritten journaling on there, you can see that I am ready to move on, trying to figure out what to do next exactly. I'm going to embellish just the tiniest bit, that little photo right there on the lower, in the middle on the right side. Nothing exciting, nothing too much, just to add a little bit of something. Now I pulled out that 3x4 wood veneer card because I really did want to use it with that photo of my son sitting on the rock, and I thought that I might trim it down to put on there, but I've decided not to because it's really not necessary, and you know, I just didn't want to go overboard with the camera theme, because as you can see there, that sticker is a camera, and then that journaling card is a camera as well. And so then if I had added the wood veneer with the camera, it might be just too much. I don't know. But anyway, so now after I have those enamel dots on there, I'm just going to go ahead and take that camera journaling card over to my typewriter and just do my journaling that way. Now, I did this with the typewriter this time because I felt like the camera card sort of lended itself to it. It had kind of that vibe, and I could get a lot more journaling on there with the typewriter than I could if I had handwritten it. And I actually had quite a bit that I wanted to say, so it made a lot of sense for me to just go ahead and use the typewriter. And I'm sort of in that mode where I am using the typewriter more often. I sort of go back and forth in times of when I use it a lot and when I don't use it a lot, and this seems to be one of those times that I'm using it a little bit more. So the typewritten journaling will do just fine on this particular card, which is one of those Scraptastic ones. It's white with the hand-drawn looking camera, and it's pretty fun and works with my theme very well. Now, as you can see, it's all finished and ready to go, and I did finally figure out that I don't need to use that wood veneer card. And so now I'm going to look at ways to embellish just a tiny bit, but then I decided that I want to really leave that photo alone because I have dressed up most of the other photos on this page, so it made sense to just leave that one completely plain. And for me, it did really speak, you know, I knew exactly what it was. So now I've adhered that photo of my dog right down to that card, and then I'm going to add just, well, what I'm actually writing is National Dog Day. And then you'll see in a moment that I get my phone out because I'm looking for the photo. Well, not the photo, excuse me, the date. Well, what I realize is that National Dog Day is actually the next week, and I have printed this photo a week too soon. However, I'm not going to change up my whole design. It's still just a photo of my dog. It's not like she's wearing a sign that says National Dog Day or anything like that. So, and in the grand scheme of things, a week is not really a big deal if I'd taken the photo next week or this week. So I just leave it, but I need to cover up where it says National Dog Day because it's not National Dog Day. So I pull out one of the cut-aparts, and I'm just going to go ahead and layer it right on top of where I had written that, and it happens to match this card perfectly well. So I'll go ahead and put it on there, and then I will use my tiny attacher just to give it a little bit more something different and adhere it, or, you know, get it attached to this page, or card, excuse me. It's not a page, is it? So there you go. So now this particular side, the left side, is pretty well finished. It's really very simple, but it's not, you don't look at it and, I don't know, I don't feel like it looks overly simple, but as you can see, it really didn't take that much work. Now I'm going to go ahead and start throwing down the photos for the right side. Now I have these two 3x4 photos that I'm going to use in those two 4x6 slots. Now I'm going to use two 4x6 cards. I lucked out that I had two left that would work. I did not know that in advance, so I could have ended up having to pull other cards or patterned paper from my stash, but I didn't have to because these two from the August kit worked perfectly. Now, as you can see, I'm adhering both of them sort of to the outsides of the cards, on the right side for the right one and the left side for the left one. And I'm going to do a continuous title over the two cards using those Simple Stories alphabets. But I do want to embellish just a tiny bit first. I'm going to use another one of the cut-aparts on that left card just at the top, just to give this a little bit something else. It doesn't really need it. It could have been perfectly a-okay, but I thought it might be fun to add a little bit something else. Now, as you can see, I'm using those orange alphabets, and I love the way they pop against that light blue card to spell out back to school night. Now, when I was putting these down, I was thinking of a couple of things. Of one, how difficult it is to line alphabet stickers up straight, and that's why I often do them so that they're not straight, just so that they're all in kind of a fun, disheveled pattern, because A, it makes it look fun, and then B, I don't have to worry about things being lined up. And I was also trying to figure out how I was going to actually write back to school night on here. So as you can see, I want the title to be continuous and go over both of these cards for the same title. And I couldn't decide if I would put back to on top of night, or if I would do back on top of school and to on top of night. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about when I'm putting these all down right here. I do decide to put back on the left card and 2 on the right card, only with the thought process of the continuity. I just wanted to make sure that it all felt really cohesive, and I thought that it might feel a little bit weird if I just put it on the right card. It may not have. It may have gone really great, but I will never know, will I? So now that's completely finished, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my phone to make sure that I have the dates correct, because I want to notate the date, because these were on 2 separate nights. My younger son was one night, and then the other 2 boys had it on the next night. So after I've checked on that, I'm going to get my date roller stamp and just put the date for the one on the one side, switch it up, and then put it on the other side as well. And then the top third of my page is complete. Now, if you're not familiar, what I love about these Scraptastic cards is that they're really, really heavy, and they're really super easy to slide into the page protectors, but they're also not really slick, because a lot of times you'll get the pocket page cards and they can be very slick and they're hard. You have to either use a permanent marker or a slick writer. This is not the case. I just used the VersaFine ink on there and it didn't smear or anything like that, so it worked out good. Now that apple of my eye card I've been wanting to use, and it was perfect with not only the back to school theme with the apple, but then also that photo next to it of my friend and that random guy. And so it worked out absolutely perfectly, and I'm super glad that I saved it and didn't use it for the last week for the week of the first week of school. So now I've pulled out a couple of cards, including that apple and then another one, but I do realize that I need a journaling card, so I will go back and switch that out. I want to embellish just a tiny bit, so I'm going to add one of those cut-aparts on top of that funny photo of my friend, and it's just perfect, and it looks great right there, and I'm just laughing thinking about this memory. Isn't that why this project is so fantastic, that you can really look back and remember? And I've switched out that card now, you can see, for journaling, because I wanted to make sure that I got all of the events of the weekend down, and I couldn't really do that on that yellow card. So now I'm going to look for stickers that'll be perfect for that tiny photo right there with the happy, and I love the black and white and the contrast in the beach. And then this little strip one on the bottom, and I love how it just sort of blends in, it looks perfect, and then adding the little banner, which I believe are from crepe paper. So now I think it all looks fantastic, and I'm just going to go ahead and add my handwritten journaling. I could have certainly used the typewriter since I did on the other side, but that's exactly why I didn't. I figured I might as well just go ahead and handwrite it, and I could use my train of thought a little bit easier this way than when I'm typing, because I feel like when I'm typing I really have to be on sort of my A game, because typing is hard enough with the vintage typewriters with the sticky keys and all that stuff. So this way I could really just think about what I was going to write and let it kind of come naturally. As you can see, I'm just using my Sharpie pen. I don't have to use a permanent marker or a slick writer, like I said, on these cards, and they don't smear or anything like that. And I love how it's just really easy and it flows really nicely. That's a product, of course, of the pen, but then also of these cards. They have a really nice texture. So now that's all finished, and at this point I want to add a couple of little sequins just to give it a little tiny bit of flair. I don't need anything really exciting, and I'll pull out my Martha Stewart glue pen to do that, and then I will layer these sequins directly on top of that little banner. As you can see, just adding a little dot of glue, and then I will do the exact same thing on that light blue journaling card as well, just for a little bit of something extra. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at my project life this week, and I used items from the Scraptastic Kit Club August This Life Noted kit. And if you liked the video, I would absolutely love it if you would leave me a thumbs up. Thank you so much and have a great day.